Hi there, this is Michael Leahy from Brave Hearts. Are you a pastor or someone in full-time ministry who feels the inescapable call of God on your life, but who also struggles with what seems to be this inescapable pull of sexual temptations and acting out behaviors? Well, you're not alone. Pastors on Porn is a podcast that's geared to provide hope and help for people like yourself, current pastors and ministry leaders who are struggling to walk in freedom. So now I want to introduce my friend, your host, fellow Bravehearts mentor, and fellow pastor, Vern Tomke.
Well, I'd love to introduce myself. My name is Vern Tomke, and I'd like to start by asking a question. Are you like me, currently in full-time ministry as a pastor or in another organization? And do you struggle with viewing porn or other sexually compulsive behaviors? Well, if you do, the Pastors on Porn podcast is meant to be an on-ramp, and the hope is to bring understanding and a connection point, a safe connection point for any pastor who is looking for help in their struggles and not having a place to turn to. So I want to welcome you to the Pastors on Porn podcast. How's that for alliteration? Again, let me introduce myself. My name is Vern Tomke. I'm currently 57 years old. I'm north of the border up in Canada, and I've been involved in vocational ministry for most of my adult life. In my 20s, I was involved in a parachurch organization, a student organization at UBC, University of British Columbia. And as I moved into my 30s, I first of all taught high school and then moved into the role of being an associate staff pastor. As I progressed into my 30s, my wife and I planted the church where I am currently the lead pastor of and lead also the staff at that church. And I've been there now for 28 years. Pastoring in a local church. So in 28 years, yes, I have learned a few things about the challenges of pastoring through good seasons and through bad seasons. And there's been both in my personal life as well as the life of our church. Now here's what I know. I know that having the call of God on your life does not mean that you are immune to the pull of sexual temptation and brokenness. I know that being gifted to lead and preach does not remove those patterns of brokenness, especially if, like me, they had been embedded for years and years and years. I also know from experience that there's nothing quite like the hellish experience of walking out what is very much an inescapable call from God, but also struggling with what felt like an insurmountable pull towards porn and other behaviors. Finally, I want to say something about the name of our podcast, Pastors on Porn. You might say, is this for pastors who want to talk about porn or for pastors who are struggling with porn? Well, it's really for those who are currently struggling. And that really is what the gist of it's for and who it's directed to. There are some amazing podcasts out there in the whole area of sexual recovery. Some of my favorite ones are Porn Free Radio, Power of Purity, Men of Integrity, Pure Desire. Some of my recovery heroes are guys like Nate Larkin, Doug Weiss, Ted Roberts, Mark Laser, Matt Dobschutz, and Michael Leahy. I know those guys can be a great help to you in the area of sexual addictions recovery. This podcast, however, is for those of you who are still fully engaged in vocational ministry, but you're also struggling. Now, I know that our struggle with sexual brokenness is not unique, but there are some unique challenges that pastors face in navigating this issue as they try to, at the same time, lead others as well as find healing and freedom in their own lives. It's not easy. One of my secret prayers over many years was, Lord, help me not become one of those pastoral casualties that we seemingly hear about every week. Another one of my prayers was, Lord, let me not be put to shame in the midst of our church. I am very, very blessed and fortunate in my pastoral journey because with the help of God, my wife, other fellow strugglers, and some key mentors like Michael, I found a period of sustained freedom and recovery in my ministry. And I believe there's real hope and change for you too. Hopefully you'll hear in this podcast that you are not alone in your situation. I think there are many pastors who will relate to my journey, and hopefully they will rediscover hope as they find their own healing as well. So, if what I've said resonates in your spirit, I want to invite you into the Pastors on Porn podcast. We're going to be dealing with topics related to being both a pastor who struggles with your recovery and your leadership in the local church. If you join me on the next journey, well, we're going to be starting with my own story. And I know you've heard the adage that you can't lead someone where you're not prepared to go. So in the spirit of risk-taking, I am prepared to go first. So welcome aboard.